Hi and welcome to Rose Red Homestead. Almost 2 weeks ago, Jim and I did a video where we walked around our yard and we were planning to talk about water conservation methods in gardening during a drought. And that was what our intent was with that video. We had also had horrific winds for about 9 or 10 days, and unbeknownst to us as we started that video, we had had a sneak freeze that defied the weather report from the night before. And on camera, I was discovering some of the damage of that frost and became a little bit emotional. So we thought it might be a really good idea to come back and revisit some of those same places that we reviewed in that last video, so that you can see what has happened in just 2 weeks' time. And we want to express our deep and heartfelt appreciation to all of those of you who posted very encouraging words. It really helped us feel better, gave us some tips and tricks that you all use, and more importantly, we learned that so many of you are also facing such amazing threats to your own home gardens due to weather conditions that are very unusual in your own areas. Many of you suggested that you wish that you could send us the rain, and boy, we wish that too, because we still haven't had any, nor is there any in the forecast for the next 2 weeks. So we're still in the middle of this awful drought. But when we come back, we'll walk around and I'll show you some things that have changed in 2 weeks' time. So we started right here in this raised bed where I had planted over 100 onions, and then it snowed the next day, so we lost most of them. Here is a single plant of dragon bush beans. I can't wait for those to come to full growth and give us their beans. They're just very amazing looking beans. I planted about 6 seeds through here and only 1 plant has come up. But the lettuce is doing great. The basil that I planted, a lot of it died back, but it's come back. The sad thing is that it's already going into blossom right now, and so that means that the flavor is going to be off. And basil is an annual in our area. It won't come back, so I'm not so sure we'll do very well with our basil planting this year, transplanted from seed from in the greenhouse. Then over here, these are peppers, and they have really grown in the last couple of weeks. And then these onions, they're starting to really bulb out, and we'll be harvesting these soon. Right here is Rob or Rapini that just totally got out of hand. And I wasn't sure how to harvest it, and by the time I learned, it was already going to seed. These are seed pods that have developed. I'm going to be taking these out and starting over again. I can plant another round of that right now, actually. Now, over here is one of our container gardens that we planted on camera in a little video that we did. And the zinnias are coming up nicely, and we do have a little bit of recovery on the marigolds. And so this should, in a couple of months, look really great. Our tomatoes over here are doing much better. The 1, 2, 3, the third one, died almost all the way back, but then started to regrow, so we're excited about that. Here is something that is brand new. This is our Vigo Garden raised bed, and you may remember that it wasn't planted or anything in our last video. Well, it is now planted, and these are just bamboo sticks to hold the straw in place, and they just sit here because we needed the straw to keep the top of the soil wet. But I have cantaloupe growing right here, and a couple of squash varieties growing right here, and these have really sprung up. And the secret to this has been this straw mulch, which is deeper than I usually do, but we are getting such hot days with no rain, and so I'm taking extra precaution. Now we're going to go right over here for a second. In this little archway, my plan was to have plants that would climb all the way and meet at the top, or even going all the way around. So this would be a nice little shady alcove. And I'm not sure we're going to make it. These are magnolia sugar peas. Notice the purple pods. They're just as cute as they can be. The heat is going to get these, I think, before they make it much taller. But even though these pods are as purple as can be, and I have eaten my share of these just right off the vine, they are green peas on the inside, and they're really good. Even the pods are good. So nice little snack when we're walking by. And its twin is right over here on the other side. And then along the trellis on both sides, I have climbers. I've got cucumbers coming and various types of beans on both sides. Hopefully they'll be able to make good use of this trellis. My lettuce is doing fabulous. It has really come along nicely. This was a mixed variety that I planted, and I have no idea what this is, but I love this. I love how it looks. I love how it tastes. So this is just really fun. More lettuce on this side as well, and we just eat lettuce all the time, every day. This is another one of our containers. This has the buckwheat in it. It suffered a little bit from the freeze, but the new leaves are coming out, and the marigolds are coming back as well. These are also peas, and it looks like they might just barely make it to the top. They're starting to die out at the bottom. We're getting in the mid-90s, and it's getting way too hot for peas. But we did have quite a nice little crop of these peas, and they're just really wonderful, pod and all. So that's a nice snack when I'm out here gardening as well. These are the beets, and they're just putting out lots and lots of leaves. I cut these leaves, and we have beet greens for supper occasionally. Then around on the other side, you can see that the hot weather is now taking a toll on the spinach. In fact, most of the spinach has died back, and in the center of each one of these plants, they're getting ready to bolt. And so I will be pulling these out. However, the lettuce that I put in here is doing phenomenal. So I'm very happy about that. Now, if you'll turn back around, the ground right here shows you where we're going to be putting our next Vigo Garden raised bed. We're getting 3 more, and one of them will be butting up against that one and will sit on top of this hardware cloth to prevent gophers from getting up inside, because we are sick of the gophers eating so many of our plants. Jim can get a close-up shot. This is cat mint, and it is right now filled with honeybees. Maybe you can even hear them. I love that sound. A little bit of asparagus right here. And this is the tree that on camera I realized that it had been knocked over by the wind. And Jim has staked it now, so it is doing fine. This is our apple tree guild, and I have tomatoes staked here and here. We're going to be doing a video in the next couple of days about pruning and staking tomatoes, and so we'll bring you back when that happens. But things are doing very nicely here. We had some dieback, but already things are coming right back. So that is really good. We lost a lot of this to the frost, but look at all this new growth. So it is overcoming that. More staked tomatoes here and here. And these two did not get touched by the frost, so it was protected by the surrounding plants, I think. Right here in the past 2 weeks, we've had 4 pumpkins pop up, and they're just doing fabulous, so I'm excited about that. 2 more tomatoes that are staked. Now we're going to walk over into our main tomato bed. This is where we had most of our damage. Now what we're trying to do this year is we are trying out various varieties in small spaces so that we can figure out which varieties grow the best for us. So I had about 12 different varieties of tomatoes and lost a lot of them right through here. Over the weekend, Jim and I were up north in Salt Lake City, and my sister and brother-in-law gave us a flat of tomato plants. after hearing what had happened to us. And so I've transplanted some here, but I want to show you some of the other things that are happening. First of all, this one right here, this is a beefsteak tomato, and it is coming back from, oh, that's a weed. It is coming back from the base of the stem. I don't know how good this is going to be, but we're going to see. And then this is one that my sister gave to me. This is a Rutgers. This is a marigold plant. I like to plant marigolds in front of tomatoes. Some of the ones that I've transplanted are not doing very well, and so we'll see what happens with them. This is I think this is a Better Boy, and it is going gangbusters. It was the single one in this row that was not touched by the frost, and it has put on probably 6 inches in the past 2 weeks. Then these are some that I just transplanted out here yesterday, and so some look okay and some are still pretty wilty. And then on this side, some look wilty, but some are doing pretty well. So we're hoping that most of these will come back. So I'm right here by our apple tree guild that's just doing fabulous. More catchment right here with bees. Here's the comfrey plant that has also grown in the past couple of weeks. There were just 2 great big bumblebees here, so I'm not sure if they'll come back to visit us. But we are very, very grateful for the comeback that has occurred over the past 2 weeks, for the regrowth, for the replanting, and for all of you and the many prayers that you've sent our way, which we deeply appreciate. So nature is always nature, and nature always comes back one way or another. And we are thankful that this setback was not such a setback that it stopped us completely. And we hope that your situations are improving as well. So we thought you might enjoy this little revisit to what was sort of a sad video previously, and now we are grateful and happy. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you with our next video.